Once we raise $1 million, then we'll figure out traction. This is a presentation. And what this goes to is raising money before you earn it, Will. And I'm going to say this. Let me caveat this because I know a lot of founders will say, but Ed, it's super hard to raise money without traction. I'm talking about trying to raise money and not having things figured out. Or sometimes people YOLO their own 150K of their own money later as they get things going. Or they do raise money and suddenly all the dynamics change and they think, okay, I'm going to raise this money. And sometimes, well, there is a world where you raise money way too soon.
It's a bunch of things. One, money will hopefully get you more traction. But if you can't figure out a way to get some traction in your business before you have money, I guarantee money isn't going to solve that problem. I've never, ever, ever, ever run a business where I couldn't get meaningful traction without money. And when people say, but I can't, every single time I talk to them, I'm like, you just haven't thought it through far enough. And that's fair. That's fair. Like, I don't expect everyone to have had the benefit of that experience, but I've never seen a business that couldn't have traction, meaningful traction created before the money.
Even beyond just the word traction, even sales will we rag on this all the time. Think about how many startups have we seen that didn't make it to the big leagues that said, we have a freemium model and we'll figure out how to make money later. And yes, we acknowledge there are lots of startups that figured out freemium models and conversion, but they had a strategy to it versus we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to not charge and just get as many eyeballs on this as possible, which happened in .com 1.0, raise a bunch of money, and then poof, nothing happens. All that money goes away.
Ed, we had a question in the audience. Aren't there some businesses like FDA regulated fields where you literally can't get traction from sales? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Right. But traction isn't just sales. I mean, that is the penultimate version of traction. But traction is forward progress in each of the key areas of the business. The product development, which could be product discovery, it could be prototyping, et cetera. So in the case of something that's maybe FDA regulation, that could be taking it through clinical trials or depending on what your product is. It could be validating the product with customers, like talking to subject matter experts or potential customers about it who are saying, we've got an indication of interest, we've got an LOI, we've got something that shows that we would buy this. Traction comes in a lot of forms. The challenge for most folks, for most founders, is they just haven't done this yet. And so they're just not aware of what traction means to investors. And again, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you out and try to explain that stuff. No reason you should do it.
My response to the FDA is a story. I worked with a founder pre-FDA approval, and they did such a great job getting business in ahead of time, even knowing that there's no FDA approval and that there's going to be a potential risk, but they were still committed. They said, all right, just keep us posted. We're committed when you get there. That he ended up selling the company before FDA approval. A massive company said, we need to take you off the market and have you all to ourselves, and we'll help you get FDA approval. And he ended up exiting and making a whole ton of money before he even, got the approval.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about, pharmaceutical and FDA. When I ran my first agency, most of our clients were huge pharmaceutical companies. And we would get paid, this would have never occurred to me, Ed, 5 years ahead of an approval of a drug to be doing marketing planning and strategy and market conditioning and things like that. So building traction, essentially, for the drug long before it ever got approval. Right. Like I remember Eli Lilly was a big client of ours. They had huge news today, by the way. Lilly was a huge client of ours. And we were launching, I think it was a drug called Zyprexa at the time. But we were 5 years from launch, man. Like we were trying to find, and we're spending millions upon millions of dollars trying to build traction. And when I think about that, that's Eli Lilly trying to get traction on something, right? Years before it's going to launch. Founders who are starting from zero, dude, you can do anything and get traction. That's what's so amazing about it.
I had an ed tech platform that required heavy licensing, and we had to go through state, government, accreditation, everything. But because we worked on traction ahead of time and we were solving a problem in such a unique way, and we managed to talk to as many users, we sold out our entire first cohort before. They said, just put me on the list.
Really?
And here's a trick. We numbered it. We called it the first 100, the founders 100. And we said, and they were like, can I be number one? I was like, no, I'm sorry. I'm number one. And they were like, can I be number two? How much do I have to pay for number two?
I love it.
We pre-sold it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there are ways to do it. That's the whole point.